Let's talk about IDK's e.t.d.s mixtape, Even the Devil Smiles, a project that deserves serious attention. Born in London, but Jason Mills was raised right next door here in Maryland. IDK has been carving out his own lane in hip hop for years, and this January released what might be the most refined statement yet. The DMV artist has always been known for sharp storytelling and thoughtful bars, but e.t.d.s, which means Even the Devil Smiles, takes things further. It's deeply personal work that examines memory, intention, and the complicated spaces between struggle and self reflection. Beyond the music, he's been expanding his creative footprint lately, collaborating with brands like Land Rover and positioning himself as more than just a rapper. He's becoming a multidimensional cultural voice, and this album reflects that evolution. The production here is masterful. IDK took an active role in crafting the sound, drawing inspiration from classic mixtape aesthetics while filtering everything through a contemporary personal lens. Shout out to folks dropping projects in January. However, why is this a mixtape? Why isn't this like just like yo? This is my okay. Maybe there's okay. It's the politics of this. This project is so well put together. This project is so well performed, curated that it should just be just this legit album. He titles it "Even the Devil Smiles," a mixtape by IDK. E.t.d.s, a mixtape by IDK. Like he's just saying straight up, this is a mixtape. I appreciate that. I appreciate that because oftentimes when I'm reviewing projects, I see a project and I'm like, I find out later that it's a mixtape. It's not an actual project. So I'm like, that's different. And like, you're not gonna be received the same way. You don't have as much. For example, when JID had that one track that he had to clear some of the samples from. You know, he we heard the stories about what he had to go through to talk to the family, to talk to the one pastor about using those vocals for clearing his project. But when it's a mixtape, not so much. Which is still kind of weird because it's streaming nowadays. So streaming, I like, do the artists still get a percentage of the streaming? You know, it's a mixtape. Before a mixtape, you can sell it on the street. It's like whatever. You know, they're not quote unquote making projects on it, making a profit on it, right? Um, so it couldn't go commercial. You can sell on the street, but you couldn't be commercial. But there's some stuff going on this project, and there's some sampling going on, and there's some remixes going on that it's interesting that it makes the song interesting, but they probably I don't know if they got clearance for all that stuff. We'll get into that. We'll get into that in a second. But this thing is produced so clean that I'm like, this is like This is better than people's full length projects. And this joint is a mixtape. The production is elite. The collaborators we talking about, we got Kaytranada on here, we got No ID, Madlib, Conductor Williams, all contributed to this thing, creating a sonic landscape that moves through soulful and experimental highs and well, I wouldn't say highs and lows. It's just like just like these different phases that, but it's still all cohesive. A note about the emotional architecture of this thing. The album it unfolds like a narrative with tracks progressing through introspective moments. There's tension, vulnerability, and then eventually a resolution. The sequencing creates natural momentum. Again, why it should be just a straight up. This is IDK's latest album. Let's talk about the generational dialogue that's also happening here. Parts of the conversation happening is with hip hop's legacy. Black Thought has a feature. Pusha T has a feature. Posthumously, DMX has a feature. MF Doom is on this project. Again, so these are the reasons why it's probably a mixtape, because there's probably a lot of legality between all these different voices making an appearance here. Particularly when you, but I understand that he did get the blessing of DMX's, I guess, estate, to feature. But this was okay. So here's the story. Yeah, I'll put a little bit of it here. So as you can see, you kind of got the blessing. You know what I mean? This was a legit feature that he got. It was for something else, something previously, and he's using it, but it's posthumously used. So then now you have to go through the estate to get the permission. So, you know, shout out to DMX for recognizing talent, freaking early, early talent. So love that. One of the tracks that folks should definitely check out is Halo. This is going to be your second track, the second track on the project. This one's produced by No ID. It happens to be, opens the project. It's setting the tone from the jump. It's smooth. The soul sampling production on here is dope. IDK establishes the reflective headspace that refines that defines the much of the project. The lyrics on this thing, the one part of the lyrics that I love to point out is towards the end on this thing where he goes, and I'm in the day room, right? My man from the south side was listening to this. Yo, he's bobbing his head like this. So I put the headphones in my man ear. He got to dancing like shit. That joint catchy as a motherfucker. So this is, it's so dope the way he put this whole project together. I got a little bit more of his story in a second, but we'll put a pin in this. Plot twist. Put a pin in that. Rewind back to 2010 in front of the judge for my sentence. State gave me 15 and they dropped the gavel. Could have got away with 3, but I wouldn't tattle. Made parole and then I got out early. Hit the studio with low and had to rock out sturdy. That's why it's real in my eyes. I made it here. No surprise. If I did the whole time, I'd be out in 2025. We just got into 2026. This was like 2025. That's when he would have been out of prison. But he got out early and was able to craft this project, and you're calling it a freaking mixtape? Bro, that's track number 1. Another track you should check out definitely is freaking P.O. Of course, he'd have a track called P.O. with Black Thought is on here, produced by Kid Trinata. This is where the album flexes its lyrical muscle, bringing in Black Thought, hip hop's most well-respected technical MCs. I think he's my number one in terms of technique, in terms of straight skill, rap skill, MC is Thought. IDK creates a meeting of minds on this project across different eras, again, giving tribute to the legends. This is different eras of conscious rap we're talking about. The chemistry between the artists elevates the entire track. Each of them has a verse that's building on the last. Liquor Jordy, by the way, is also featured on this joint. And he adds another dimension, creating a 3-way dialogue that feels like a masterclass in wordplay and flow. The production matches the intensity, hard-hitting drums, compelling sample, gives the MCs something substantial to rap over. This track stands as one of the album's peak moments. in terms of just pure just bars. Yeah, I got them switching sides to the getting money side. I see it in her eyes. They only see her thighs. She out to set me up, so they hit me up. Been bright as days that's sunny since I sipped the sippy cup. Fuck all the accolades. Fuck all the allegations. Let's see the evidence. If you ain't catch me in the act, it's irrelevant. If you ain't catch me in the motion, then I'm motionless. They want to see me in a box or want to see me dead. They see it equal, though I want to see it later less. The thought of breaking down them ounces add an ounce of stress. Bruh. Let's go. They see equal, though I want to see the later less. The thought of breaking down them ounces add an ounce of stress. Either way, I hustle on the block until I cash the check. It ain't no check when you hustle on the block, but I feel you, right? Jump outs giving pop quizzes. I'ma pass the test. Man, that boy there was, but then of course, Thought wasn't about to let that shit just fucking wasn't about to let that shit ride. He jumps in. Hey, I'm one of them. I paid the price. Now I live life above the rim. I'll show you how to separate the rock from the gem. From Philly, where it's people getting popped on a whim. Pray you not one of them. With your spot run up in. I know what's more powerful, the pistol or the pen. I'll show you how to separate them boys from the men. The dollar from the pound, from the euro, from the yen. With just a tug of tie knot, tilt of the brim. So when them stakes is high like stills, I'ma win. In spite of hate from blood that was built kind of thin. Careful who you befriend. They will switch up in the end. When intentions all along was just to have you broke with them. That's why I keep them jokers guessing. They ask me my profession. I tell them I'm manifested. They check for my direction. I change it. I'm ambidextrous. My balance, I'll never be anorexic. Now I'm eating while I'm beating up the la 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 don't she bro bars bars. Hello, are you fucking listening? Are you fucking listening? So shout out to DMX, shout out to MF, shout out to freaking Thought. Like real, recognize real. And some of y'all looking fucking unfamiliar. You ain't got features from all of that. Why is this a mixtape? The shit makes no sense. You got Pusha T coming up with life for life. Life for life is gonna be where that joint come up at? Life for life is is third to last track. Everybody know we don't play. Starts off that joint like that. This Pusha T collaboration represents a bridge between different schools of hip hop. We talk conscious rap and freaking coke rap on one track. It explores themes of conscious karma and the cycle that defines street life and personal growth. The production gives both rappers space to command attention with a beat that's menacing. It's sophisticated. And these boys is spitting on this joint. The last track on this project is Scrambled Eggs, TBC, to be continued, pretty much what they talk about there. It closes out the project. This is a somber reflection that bridges everything full circle. Again, so freaking cohesive. This is a conductor joint, right? At the end of this thing here, landing the fucking plane. The track deals with consequences of karma, deals themes of that thread through the entire thing. It's melancholic. The tone provides closure while leaving certain questions unresolved because AKA is to be continued, right? In the title, it suggests that it's not an ending. It's just a pause and ongoing. So, bruh, if this is just your mixtape, what the project finna be like? what the project finna be like when you got all the clearances, when you got all the time to like let that joint breathe. This is the type of project that you put out when you're trying to convince your the label that you're worth the investment or whoever's backing him. I'm not even sure if he's of independent. Let me see. No, he's not. He's man, let me see. IDK record label. Warner. He's with Warner Records. Okay, so bruh, I can't see anybody who's legitimately supposed to be like finding talent at Warner, listen to this project and not being like, oh yeah, yeah, you know, here's a check. It's blank. I haven't written anything. Do what you gotta do. Let me get that project. Let's make it 12 to 15 tracks. Get your features that you gotta get. Whatever. Get your clearances. Get your samples. And let's ride. Cause like, yo, this project is that freaking dope. Lands the plane and everything. It's thoughtful in the way that it concludes everything. It avoids a neat resolution in favor of just honest uncertainty. He was uncertain about his whole life and his whole trajectory when he was facing that time. But he got out, and the production here is stripped back to allow him to tell his story pretty much unbothered, unblocked. This project rewards your engagement. It rewards a focused solo session with quality headphones. Let the beat knock. But also let the turn the treble up so you can parse out the wordplay and the production details. This is music for hip hop heads who appreciate substance, who appreciate when an artist opens up without sacrificing craft. Jason isn't just making songs here. He's creating an immersive experience that invites you to his headspace. That level of artistic intention is rare. It's rare, man. This is a special project, and it deserves, and it's worth your listen, and it is worth celebrating.